So in this video, I'm going to be watching another SirPugger video where he rambles on about what he thinks is happening, but as usual, he's pretty misinformed and just believes about everything you tell him. In the last video, I gave my thoughts on machine learning RuneScape PvP bots, but some of the feedback I got was telling me that I should give actual examples of what I'm talking about for you guys to visualize. So this time I've gone ahead and watched the video ahead of time by myself, and I'll pause it and explain the places where he's wrong and try to show some examples of what I'm talking about as we watch the video. Let's get into it.
Today I want to take an in-depth look into private bot scripts on RuneScape. First of all, what is a private bot script? A public bot script is just one of the thousands of scripts offered on the major botting websites. They're cheap, a lot of people have used them, and if you use them, you'll get banned extremely quickly.
Okay, that's the first thing I wanted to touch on. There are scripts that have hundreds of users and run thousands of bots monthly, and that doesn't mean that the ban rate is higher or that you'll run it for an hour and suddenly get banned. And let me give some examples. But yeah, just that's a common misconception.
A private bot script is just one that's not open to the public. It might be coded by someone who just wants to use it for themselves, or much more commonly, someone has a specific script request and is connected with a bot scripter that charges them a lot of money to write the script. A lot of these script writers advertise on bot forums. I wanted to gather a lot of information about private bot scripts, so I started messaging them anonymously. I asked one of them if they could make me a full Armadillo script that gets kill counts and everything. He said it was $5,000 US.
Yeah, that's not very surprising. Armadillo's a bit harder, getting the KC is a bit harder. And bots that work in a group like, say, Bandos or Corp or something like that, that's easily going to be at least a couple $1,000s. So, what the guy quoted him is pretty spot on.
He wouldn't budge on the price, and he also said he gets 10% of the earnings I would make from the bot script. A lot of this.
So that part right there, I haven't really heard of that too much, but I guess if it's being constantly updated, an arrangement like that could be worked out. But it'd be kind of hard to enforce that every month you pay me X amount. Like, what are you going to do if they don't?
Scripters claim to have made hundreds of scripts themselves. There are comments from people who bought the scripts with feedback mentioning the price they paid, like $1,400. Another scriptwriter told me that he made a bot that took accounts from Tutorial Island, trained them up, and were able to do raids. He wouldn't tell me exactly how much.
So usually I'd say something like that is just not something that anybody would do. But I have heard about one guy that made something that, not from Tutorial Island, but it can bring a pretty fresh account to the stats it needs for raids. Which, honestly, the stats for raids, if you think about it, isn't really that hard. It's range, mage, and then 70 melee stats. That takes not very long at all. So, whatever.
He charged, but he said in the 5 figures, so over $10,000 US. And he said the raid bot generates bills a month. You also have to remember, I have no idea if this person is telling the truth. Since I have no way of confirming if the bot writers are telling the truth, and I'm sure a lot of them exaggerate, I decided to take a different approach and find people who'd purchased private bot scripts. I was able to get in contact with a guy who purchased a private script for $1,000 US. The script farms Vorkath, one of the highest level bosses in the game that gives some of the best profit per hour. And
So I just wanted to say right now that you guys will see it in a couple seconds, but this script that he bought for $1,000 is not very good. When Vorkath spawns the acid pools, it walks right over them. This dude got scammed.
You'll see in this video why it doesn't make fiscal sense to buy these bot scripts. What was your original plan with this script?
At first it was just like, well, I might as well try it. Like, a lot of people are claiming to make a lot of money off botting and stuff, so I was like, it was kind of like a publicity thing. Like, it made me think, and then I thought, hang on a minute, like, this isn't right. It's not going to make as much money as people claim, like, surely.
See right here.
I want to really break down.
Right here, just walks right over the pools instead of finding an optimal path. That is a trash script, my friend.
costs involved with actually running a script like Vorkath. And the first cost obviously is trusting a bot scripter enough to just send them a lot of money.
The script was supposed to be $1,000, but we managed to discuss like a payment plan. So basically, in order to get access to the script, I had to pay $500, but once I paid the $500, I was allowed to use the script and help him test it and stuff. So it isn't even fully finished.
But other than the $500 to $1,000, which is honestly the cheapest I've heard of any of these advanced scripts, you have to take a step back and realize if you want to make a lot of GP from running the scripts, you need high-level accounts with a lot of requirements. For example, Vorkath requires Dragon Slayer 2. And after a quick Google search, accounts with Dragon Slayer 2 done are not cheap. Let's lowball it and say $200 to $300 each. So let's say you want to run 10 of these.
See, this is one of the main things about this video that I wanted to touch on. So everyone knows about Jagex and their very terrible account security. Most of the accounts that you find at Vorkath that are actually bots, which I would say is very, very few, but say at Zora or other botting, high GP per hour botting areas, they're stolen accounts. Like there is hand-trained ones, there's Venezuelans, and then there's thousands upon thousands of stolen, cracked, phished accounts that had their usernames and passwords brute forced. And you can buy these for a relatively cheap price. Like right here, he showed a couple $100. You can buy a cracked account that probably 80, 90 combat stats. And then you could just pay someone $20 to do Dragon Slayer too. The main thing that he's pointing out is he's going, oh, well, accounts cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But they don't.
These bots at once because you want to actually make some decent money. That's going to cost you $2,000 to $3,000 in accounts on top of the $1,000 bot script. But here's the worst part.
It's just a matter of time until they detect the scripts. Like, a lot of the coders will lie about how good they are at being detected and stuff.
When you buy this, you have no idea what the quality is. The scripter probably will claim that it's almost unbannable, when really it could be very primitive. And every time one of the accounts gets banned, you lose.
Well, I'm just going to throw out right now. I don't know it. Oh, actually, I know one out of like maybe 10, 15 scripters who actually like tries to upsell themselves like that. Like most people will be like, hey, this is what's happening. This is the chance of you potentially getting banned. And then they want to be upfront with you because they want you to come back and be a repeat customer and want to buy more expensive scripts and things like that. But there's always a risk of you interacting with someone that you don't know and giving them a large chunk of money. But most of these script writers that have been doing it for years, they don't want to scam you. They want to make money off you, and they want you to come back and buy more and more scripts.
Lose $200 to $300 plus the extra GP the account would have made. So let's say your account makes 2 mil per hour killing Vorkath. That's about $1 per hour. The account costs $300.
Wait.
The script costs
2 mil an hour. Oh yeah, that's about right. Like, damn, gold's cheap. Wow.
$1,000. Just to cover the cost of the account alone, it has to be able to run Vorkath for 300 hours.
Something else you need to watch.
See, this is the main thing that was triggering me while I was watching this. The account does not take that long. You buy a cracked account, you pay a Venezuelan $20 to do the quest, and there you go. You're farming whatever you want. That being said, I know a good amount of higher tier gold farmers. I do not know a single person that's running Vorkath just because it's a hassle, and why do that when you could do something that's easier money without having to worry about everything that Vorkath involves.
Watch closely as well. If you look at the GP per hour, it sits in this sort of gear at this efficiency at about 1.8 mil. So it isn't even over the 2 mil threshold. If you wanted to make excessive amounts of money, you would have to have the optimal gear.
Other than spending a lot of extra money on GP to buy the best gear, there's a much bigger cost that a lot of people forget about. Take for example in this clip, the guy who's running this bot has bad ping and the game isn't reacting fast enough to the bot and it dies to Vorkath. And the guy's only running one account here. So you need good internet and a really nice computer if you want to run 10 accounts at once at Vorkath. And
But see, this is what I'm saying. This dude got scammed. This is a bad script. It stops over the acid pools, doesn't try to avoid them. Like, this is worth $1,000. Oh boy.
not have the accounts repeatedly die. Now, everything I'm describing is against game rules. Botting, buying accounts, buying gold other than buying bonds. But even putting all of that aside, it's too risky and it doesn't make sense to run bot farms like this. I'm not saying no one's ever profited from botting, but what I am saying is if you tried it, it's likely that you wouldn't. I reached out to Modweath on Twitter as usual, because if he was able to detect even just a couple of these botters and ban them immediately if they started using this Vorkath script, they'd probably be pretty discouraged since it costs so much money just to set it all up. He didn't respond to me, but you know, I'm sure he's busy. But
You know why Modweath does not respond to SirPugger? It's because he's been doing his job for years, and he doesn't need some random kid who's making YouTube videos to message him and say, hey, this is what botters are doing. Hey, bots are doing this. Hey, please ban this, please ban that. Imagine you've been doing your job for years, and then some person who thinks that they're helping comes in and they're like, hey, can I have your attention? Can I have your attention? Do this, do that. Someone telling you how to do your job is a great way, or someone telling you how to do your job is just going to make you want to ignore them. So, yeah, stop being annoying.
Vorkath bot is just the tip of the iceberg. 3 separate people have sent me screenshots of accounts they think are bots at Armadillo. They all have low stats except between 20 and 100 million range experience. All 3 people said they have robotic movements and they're almost always online. From talking to the guys who write the private bot scripts, many of them claim to have also made Corporal Beast bots. I'm pretty sure almost every PVM activity in the game that's pretty profitable is botted. There are plenty more examples of private bots.
So with the Armadillo thing, those could be bots. There's always a chance, but there's lots of people that just camp out and do the same thing over and over and over, which you'd expect me to be like, oh yeah, those are cool bots, but you never know. It could be Venezuelans feeding their families.
Scripts in the game. Here's one of the largest high-level bot farms I've ever seen. This footage was sent to me. It's of a massive skeletal wyverns bot farm. Most of the accounts are over combat level 110 and they all wear exactly the same thing. A berserker helmet, a dragon fire shield. Well, anyway, you can see. And from this guy's footage, they're on almost every single world. They all have 97 to 99 attack strength and defense and just about no other stats other than 66 Slayer. I gotta wonder, seeing these clips, how many people actually still actively play old school RuneScape? Out of this.
So from him saying that, the player count has been dropping, and when Venezuela's power went out, the player base's user count dropped by, it was about 15 to 22k, and then give or take at any given time, let's say there's maybe 15k bots, maybe less. So you add the 22k plus the 15k, and then you subtract that from the online user count. There's probably 30 or 40k people that are actually playing at any given time. The rest is either botters or Venezuelans. And that's a huge problem, but what are you going to do about it?
70 to 80,000 on average who are online. How much of that number do you think are bots? But let's get back to my conversations with the people writing these bot scripts. After I messaged multiple of the script writers, I told them I was SirPugger eventually, and I started asking them about the scripts they were making. Finally, I was redirected to a guy who made a point farming script for Bounty Hunter 2. I was told it wasn't released yet, but whoever commissioned it paid 7 billion old school RuneScape gold, which is equivalent to over 3,500 US.
That's not surprising. I know one guy that was preparing for the Bounty Hunter update before it even came out. And then the day that it came out, he was making, I think, 1 bill per 10 hours or something like that. And he was running a very moderate sized farm. Like, he could easily have been running more, but he was just running maybe 30, 40 accounts. And he was making, I'm trying to think of the exact number, but just 1 bill per 10 hours. And yeah, so that's easily worth 7 bill. Just running it for, I don't think Jagex fixed the bounty hunter crates for a couple days at least, so lots of money was made. Oh, and it's also funny to me that Jagex, they disabled the crates but left everything else. Like, the points are still going to get spent. Hello? Like, I don't know what this company's doing sometimes. It's kind of sad.
Dollars. I don't know if this is the same script that was 7 bill old school GP, but a new bot farm has hit Bounty Hunter 2, and it's absolutely massive. The problem is, I can't figure out what it's supposed to do. Let me take you through it. So there are hundreds of level 30 through 32s. They seem to spread out randomly throughout the wilderness, until they get a target that's also a member of the same bot farm. Once they do that, they teleport out, and teleport to the Corporal Beast. They then enter a private instance, and eventually show up in Lumbridge. From what I can tell, they then log out and somehow repeat the process. I have absolutely...
So I'm actually not sure about this. At first I thought it could be something to do with skipping the target without a, without a penalty. But I'm not sure how that would work because they still need to kill each other. Now this is just me guessing, but I believe there's probably 1 random tile or 2 random tiles somewhere in the Corp Cave that for some reason allow you to attack your target or attack other players, and then they're using that to kill each other in there. And I'm not really sure, but that was what I suspected it could be.
No idea why they would be doing this or how the bot farm is actually making money. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas. I really want to know what's going on behind that portal. There might even be a bug that's being exploited. I decided to test it out for myself, so I hopped on 2 of my accounts and got each other as targets. A 3rd account set up the private instance at Corp. What I don't understand is, how do 2 targets benefit from going into a private instance of Corp? They can't kill each other in there, so they shouldn't be able to make any money. I suicided on both of my accounts to Corp because I guess that's what I suspect the bots are doing, but neither account got an emblem upgrade or any points. So I started to hunt the bots to track their movements. They all have food on them and eat very quickly. If you attack them for a while, they'll teleport and then skip you as targets. They only seem to go to Corp when they get another bot as a target. I grabbed binds, which only hold your target for 5 seconds. But I finally KO'd one. The only thing these guys have on them is jugs of wine and antidote potions. And this is all I know. I can't find out anything else about them. I'm sure a mod could easily spy on them and figure out what the farm is doing, and not only ban them, but if there's bug abuse going on, patch it. Unfortunately, Jagex does not respond to me. Now, I didn't even know this bot farm still existed. If you guys remember the video I did breaking into a bot's house on a PvP world, these bots make planks using their demon butler in their...
So the fact that he says he didn't know it existed, I don't believe him right there, because these are the kind of farms that pop up over the weekend or pop up whenever there's promotional membership, and they just run as long as they can. At the end of the day, they mule all their money off, and then they made money and they get banned, and then they come back again over and over and over and over again.
House. Doing it on PvP worlds increases the efficiency because there are easy bank chests in Lumbridge and Camelot. A lot of these bots don't get banned for months. I received a tip from...
That is not very true. Most of these bots, they get banned very regularly, but because of how long that the game has been out and how long these botters have been legitimately botting, making money, everything's... I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I know a lot of people, they have things fully automatic. If an account gets banned, it's automatically recreated and goes back to doing the same thing. It might wait until a certain time or a certain day to start up again, but these aren't the same accounts that last forever. Like, these are completely different accounts.
someone who used the bot previously. He said after my video, the botters changed the location of their house to Yanil, so that when the bots messed up and popped out of their player houses, people wouldn't kill them for a lot of money. So obviously I went to Yanil. Within just 10 minutes, a bot popped out, but I wasn't paying attention.
Damn, he could have killed him if he had a bot to attack him. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
But in just a couple more minutes, another one popped out and I killed it for over 6 million GP. I already made a video about it and made a lot of GP from that, so I'll leave this one to you guys. The bots could pop out of any house portal, so if you want to make some gold by killing bots, camp outside these portals and wait for them to pop out. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. This one took an extremely long amount of time.